Hi, everyone, and welcome to Community Journal. Thank you very much for joining us. Always nice to have you aboard, and we appreciate you coming. And I cannot believe that this weekend ushers in a new season.
I know. Where
did summer go?
I know. Where did summer go? And fall is here, and the hurricanes are coming.
I know
and
it.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness, so much
Well,
going
we sort of
on.
lucked out with this hurricane.
Yes, we
It really turned into a tropical storm, which we were very lucky. And
hopefully that will continue next week.
yeah, I hope so. This one sort of got stuck off the coast 150 miles away, but you know, it's not doing too much damage. We're getting some beneficial rain, so I guess we really can't complain.
And it didn't affect the Harwich happening last weekend.
No, it didn't.
Yes, the Cranberry Festival.
Except for the fog.
Oh, I know. Oh, I felt so bad about that. But it sounded great. And the sky was pretty colors.
Those were the best fireworks I've ever heard.
Yes, exactly.
I actually saw them because I was on the field at the high
you
school.
could see them. I mean, you really could. If you looked up in the lower woods, you could see them.
We were across the street and didn't come over until the end. Yeah.
And in case you didn't know, we have a third person with us today at the top of the show. You might not know this person. Her name is Robbin Kelley, and she happens to be the cemetery administrator for the town of Harwich. Now, some of you may not know her, but all of us will get to know her, I'm sure, at some point in our life. And Robbin is going to be talking to us today with Eileen and I about something a lot of people try to avoid, and that's pre-planning. And you know, this is something that is becoming more and more important. And Eileen, you brought out a very good point before the show. A lot of folks move down here and they don't have anybody, any relatives down here with them, and they're sort of going it on their own.
Exactly.
And I think what Robbin has to tell us today is it really ties into that and makes it even more important. So, Robbin, we really appreciate you coming aboard, taking time out of your busy schedule to tell us something about a pre-planning luncheon that you are putting together.
Well, the pre-planning luncheon is going to be on October the 2nd. It starts at 10 and it goes until 2. We break around noontime for lunch for an hour. And we'll have vendors that are placed all around the room, and they will have information that you can take away if you are interested in, say, maybe assisted living or veterans benefits, or talking to me about purchasing lots, or talking to one of the funeral homes. But we have 14 different speakers, so it's quite a range of people that will be at the
luncheon.
At the luncheon.
Yes.
Of course, and the food will be wonderful, served by Linda.
Yes.
She'll be making clam chowder and sandwiches and stuff. Probably some dessert, I'm sure.
Yummy. And this is a very important topic, as Jack was bringing out, because so many of us sort of know it's coming, but, oh, well, I'm feeling well and I don't have to worry about it. This is the time to do it when you are feeling well and get everything set up and everything buttoned up, and then your family will know what your wishes are and how you want to handle.
Right. The first pre-planning seminar that I started to arrange was because I had so many people coming to me when somebody died.
Yes.
And it is a very hard time to make all those decisions in like a 2-day time period. You got to pick out a lot, you got to find a funeral director, you have to figure out what everyone wanted. So it can be very difficult at that time. So we want to give them as much information in advance so that you can make informed decisions and maybe find out the wishes of your loved ones. A lot of times people don't even talk about whether they want to be a traditional burial, which is in a casket, versus a cremation burial, which...
good point, yes.
And here on the Cape, we are still at about 50-50 casket and cremation, but off Cape, they're at 80% cremation. So I think more and more people this day and age are going towards cremation. I think not only for economics, but I think a lot of people want to leave less of a footprint. So it's personal preference, and I don't want to sway anyone either way.
But it affects how you use your lot, which is a very interesting point that you brought up when we were speaking earlier.
Yes. So if you had purchased a traditional burial lot, say 2 grave spaces for you and your spouse, in the town of Harwich, in that 1 full body burial space, you can have 4 cremations or 1 full body and 1 cremation. So if you want typically you could have 8 cremations in that lot with an upright memorial. So sometimes people want their children buried with them in the same location. As a genealogist, I love that because then you can find everyone in one fell swoop. But a lot of people just economically find that a much appealing. And they want to be with their parents or.
And there's so much more to this topic than just picking the plot and the funeral home and so forth. There's also all the smaller details
Right.
that we don't think about, and we just assume family and friends will take care of it. But they might want to be at the services with you, and there's someone that's going to be speaking about that.
Oh, yes. So we this year I found this lady. Her name is Annie Gibbons, and she owns a company called With Amazing Grace, and her services are kind of different. So she would say you wanted to go back to your house or, you know, and you had to get all the stuff from the funeral home, the pictures, the flowers, and what you wanted to have served there. She will do all the behind the scenes work for you. She'll clean your house, walk your dog. She does elder care. She does, you know, provides transportation, or will get you transportation if your loved ones are flying in from the airport, a train station. Because she's kind of like a wedding planner for funerals.
Exactly, that's what you said.
Yeah,
and we
amazing.
chuckled, but
Yeah,
it
that
truly
really,
is,
yeah.
yes. And it's a wonderful service.
Yeah, I think she's the only one that offers it, and she's wonderful. So she's a great speaker. So I look forward to everyone meeting her, and she does a great job.
And not all the speakers will be speaking. Some of them will just be providing
Yeah, some of them, you
information
know,
to
I
take
know.
home.
Yeah, like Shawnee Carroll, she is one of the veterans agents here in town. She is going to have a table set up with all the materials about veterans benefits and about the Bourne National Cemetery, and she will introduce all of the speakers, but she, you know, will just probably meet with people on a one-to-one basis after lunch or during lunch, whatever you want to do. We also have Elizabeth Lynn. She is an elder law attorney that works in the Council on Aging area, and they do offer free legal services here on the Council on Aging on wills and trusts and probate, which are very important things to try to figure out before somebody gets sick or ends up, you know, there's a 5-year look back if you're going to go into any of these assisted living homes, and you want to make sure that you have all that stuff in order before, you know, somebody gets ill or eventually passes on.
And that's such an important piece.
It really
Elder
is.
law is very important, and it's wonderful that she offers her services free through the COA.
There's 3 separate attorneys that do meet.
Wow,
Wow.
that's wonderful. I mean, this is information that we ordinarily wouldn't know if you didn't put this all
Right.
together.
Right, you wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And Robin, have you noticed, you know, in the past 5 years, let's say, a movement away from traditional type funerals and you
Yeah,
know, what seems to be the trend?
I think a lot of people now do celebrations of life, which are a little bit different. So they would have, instead of having the traditional funeral home services, if the person was cremated, they might even wait to let all the relatives fly in. They'll either rent a hall. Some people do go to a restaurant, and they'll have pictures or do a PowerPoint presentation with memories.
Really?
In,
Okay, yeah.
you know, I've seen just about anything.
I bet you have.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, I mean, I
That's
think
great.
they want to more celebrate the life than
Yes.
actually have funeral services. So I think some people still like the traditional funeral services, but there's other options out there that people are coming into. I am also on the South Harwich Meeting House, which is going to be opening probably in the spring of next year. And we will be able to have masses or, you know, by
Services.
Yeah.
inside the church, and then burials right there in the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
In the basement of the South Harwich Meeting House, it has a kitchen and an area all set up so that you could do everything all in one space. You know, it's just other
that's wonderful.
options that we're trying to open up. Hopefully the people will be having weddings, not just funerals there. Concerts and other activities. I'm sure it's looked at like another arts building.
Well, it is an event in a way, and many people who move to the Cape come from out of state. And,
Yeah, that's
or
true.
they might spend 6 months in Florida, 6 months here, and if they should pass away in Florida, they might want to do the services there and then come back and have a celebration of life here for those who couldn't make it down to Florida,
Yes,
and vice versa.
and I think that happens more often than
Yes.
people realize. And a lot of people will delay burials too. I mean, if it's 10 degrees out, a lot of people don't want to do services at the cemetery, so they end up waiting. We do a lot of services in July and August, and it almost becomes like a destination. They're going to come here for a week, and while they're here, they'll celebrate their grandmother passing away or something to that effect. And it gives people a lot of time to plan. A lot of people have busy schedules, and they can't get away from work. And I think a lot more people are trying to accommodate people so that everyone can attend.
Yes, and it opens up the need for the services of these speakers that you're going to be presenting at this pre-planning luncheon, which, as you said, was on Monday, October 2nd.
Yes.
It's going to be held here
That
at
is
the
correct.
Community Center, and people must sign up. And
Oh, yeah, so-
tell them how to sign up.
So they need to call the Council on Aging. The phone number is 508-430-7550. And they need to say that they are coming to the pre-planning luncheon. You also must say if you're coming alone or with your spouse. The last time we held it, we had a lot of people just show up. We were able to accommodate some of them, but then it was full. And once there's only enough seating for so many people. We sit at round circle tables, so it's not intimidating, and so that all the speakers can get heard. And then the tables will be on the outside. So hopefully we'll have a great turnout again this year. But we always videotape the pre-planning seminar to then go home with people who could not attend. So there are some people who just are homebound or in hospice. We have a hospice worker coming who's going to talk about Nancy Reynolds, dispelling the myths of hospice. And
yes,
Wow.
because that's changed too. So many things have changed
right.
within
So
their life.
I think we will have a lot of speakers and a lot of people who won't be able to attend will still, because Jamie does such a great job videotaping and then getting the CD available for others so that they can view it in their home, or they, if somebody was away and they didn't have time to come or had other,
Other obligations.
could work or whatever. But
Right.
Well, Robbin, I think this is wonderful that you're taking the time to put all this together, and it's a topic that a lot of people have in the past tried to avoid, and you've certainly taken and made it user-friendly. And
Good way to put it, Jack.
And I think this is really a great opportunity. And again, that's Monday, October 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and lunch is from 12 noon to 1, but you must sign up. And so you just can't walk in. So we really need to stress that because we want to make it useful. And if it's overbooked, it really won't work as well. So please sign up with the COA.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Yes, don't call Robbin.
Don't call Robbin.
you can, but you still have to call the front desk of the COA because
Right.
they are doing all of the, they do the lists, and then I believe they call and remind people as well.
Great, that's
Excellent.
wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Well,
All
Robin,
right.
thank you so much for coming aboard and
thank you for
joining us
having me.
today. We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, and we wish you success on this this luncheon. I'm sure it'll be a great turnout.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Very
Thanks
good.
again, Robbin.
Well, folks, we move along now on the show, and Dinah and Kevin Dinah sat down with Kevin Grunwald to give us an update with the Council on Aging. So let's take